I've gone 18 surgeries.
Okay.
Total of 18 surgeries from my head to my toe, yeah.
Was it your positive mindset during that recovery process?
In 2013, I would say at that point of my life, I felt I was in the most prime physical, mental state I ever thought I would be. I thought, right? And I was good. I mean, I was in boxing, I was very active, I was athletic. And all of a sudden, boom, I find myself in a position where if I don't hold on to something, I might just fall down. Like every single one who came to my house said, it's not possible, Sujith. You cannot go up in a wheelchair.
Right.
Did I just do it? Whichever way I did, but did I do it? This changed my entire mindset.
Coming out of the situation, doing what you're doing today is not an easy task and not everybody can do it. And hence, I said you're an epitome of the positive mindset.
I think I've got more people after my accident than I've got ever before my injury. From what I went through, I would say I've met the devil like 10 times, 15 times on the way, and I still beat him every single time to be here. You know,
I would say you are not wheelchair bound, you are wheelchair liberated. Unstoppable, unabashable, unconquerable. In a life-changing accident, he found true purpose of his life and left everyone inspired. A man of many talents, a personal trainer, a fitness influencer, a motivational speaker, world record holder, a musician, a rapper, and much more. Today, we have an extraordinary pleasure of welcoming Sujith Koshi Varghese, a man of many talents and with the positive mindset. Thank you, Sujith. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Raman. Thank you for having me at your show here today.
Thank you very much for making it. Before I jump into any conversation and even listen to your journey, we have been watching, hearing a lot about you through social media, YouTube, press coverages, and much more. That you've had a major accident in Bangalore in India and you were in college those days.
Right.
Right. But I would like to start by asking, was it a miracle for you to come out of it, or was it your positive mindset during that recovery process?
I would say it's not like one miracle. It's like multiple miracles, I would say. The first one, definitely me surviving the injury, because the accident was to a grave extent which injured me, and it got me into coma, and I was unconscious for 4 days. I was on a ventilator. So that was definitely a miracle. And the bigger miracle was coming out positive from it. I think that is the way, because the first one is uncontrolled, but that's not in my hands. That's in God's hands. For me, that's what I believe in, and I was given life back. And the biggest one, and it wasn't just one aspect, like you mentioned earlier, was it the positive attitude? It was a multiple different things towards it, like reflection was one, like self-reflection was one part of it. And it was in multiple stages, but definitely it is because of the attitude I held and I kept and I believed in.
Yeah, so a follow-up question on, you just mentioned, self-reflection. I would like to understand more about it.
So, wow, I would love to go in details about this, yeah? So when I was lucky to have a lot of time in my hand to think. And I think, because after the accident, there was months I was just at home doing nothing other than just watching YouTube and some movies and sleeping. I was not working, I wasn't studying, nobody was forcing me to do anything. So there was so much of alone time I had for months, probably even years, I would say, that I got into a lot of thinking about my entire life, about the person I was, about the things I did, about the mindset I had, about the certain things I did with the intentions I had. And then I started asking myself, what was the purpose? And I think today, a lot of people, we just go with life. Like, I know we change, we are like this ever-rolling ball that just keeps changing and growing and growing and growing. No, not with go with the flow. I mean, like, we just keep constantly adopting and adding things to us and removing things from us as we grow, right? The reflection part hit me is because there were judgments being said, there was limitations being placed by people, right? Yeah. But then I started understanding, where do you want to be? who are the person you are? Who do you are you scared? Are you this strong person that you think you are? And then you can never fake yourself. You have to be true to yourself.
Correct.
No matter what you show outside. Like it's like truthfully, you might show that you are a very this thing, but truthfully, you know who you really, really are inside, right? So that was a question I feel people are not asking themselves enough today.
Okay. Fighting with your physical battle
Right.
was one thing, but was it more difficult than fighting or looking at the people, those sad faces with the sympathy, etc. Right?
It didn't hit me at first.
Okay.
When we're talking about fighting physicality, yes, it was because I was not having balance. If you see today, I'm sitting straight up and I'm fine, right?
Yeah.
Believe it, in 2013, I couldn't do that. I had to do this. I had to hold on to something. I had to hold on to my wheelchair. Because the minute I would do this, I would just fall on either direction. So that was a big physical change in my life. Like all of a sudden, one day I'm running and jumping and I'm in full control of my body.
Yeah.
To one day waking up and not sure if, I'm so scared every time. Unless people are not there with me.
Yeah.
It was a very scary moments for me, and I've fallen from a wheelchair multiple times. And all these things have scared me. But when we talk about the sympathy part of it, initial days I started getting so much of sympathy and I was like, this is probably just end very soon. The sympathy part. And then a year went, and then 2 years went, and then 3 years went, and then 5 years went, and I saw it was not stopping anywhere. So that was something I had to put a barrier from people giving me that anymore. So that was very difficult, my friend. Yeah.
So it's almost been a decade now, right?
It is a decade. Yeah.
So reflecting back on the same thing, how many surgeries you have gone through till date?
I have gone, I think many people know this, but I've gone 18 surgeries.
Okay.
Total of 18 surgeries from my head to my toe, yeah. In a span of 6 to 7 years.
And how many kind of doctor or type of doctors or remedies you must have done to come out of that process?
I did. So I've been treated in Dubai, I've been treated in Bangalore, I've been treated in India. I've had like probably 5-6 surgeries in every single place,
Okay.
So it has been a lot of doctors. I have lost count. I've lost count now.
Okay, so we as individuals or living here in Dubai or for that fact you live anywhere, you have to do your everyday or everything, the daily chores of the necessities, right? So even starting from your cooking to your gym to your daily necessities, right? So how did you learn all of that? And it is kind of a difficult one for somebody like you who was kind of athletic, who was kind of a 20-year-old boy driving bikes, roaming on the streets, enjoying with the friends, going to clubbing, etc.
Or not, yeah.
Yeah. So that gets difficult.
Yeah.
And we would be interested to understand how you came out of that and how you build those, I would say, skills to give a better life for yourself.
Yeah. So in 2013, I would say at that point of my life, I felt I was at the most prime physical, mental state I ever thought I would be. I thought, right? And I was good. I mean, I was in boxing. I was very active. I was athletic. And all of a sudden, boom, I find myself in a position where if I don't hold on to something, I might just fall down. I cannot go to any place. I couldn't even get on a bed without people picking me up.
True.
I was in CMC Vellore for about 3 months. And in those 3.5 months, they taught me how to even pick things from a ground. So I was literally, I know it might sound like what was there in picking things up from a ground, but when you are in such a position and you have zero balance on your lower body, this has to be taught to you. They taught me how to transfer to a chair, how to transfer to a car, how to take a shower safely without falling down, and these little things, how to go to a bed. I was taught these things and I had like 5-6 people supervising me, making sure that, so these are things that are taught. And there were hundreds of people like me in CMC Vellore who had the same thing and they were learning all this. Over the years, where it changed for me is, there were one incident that happened in Kerala that changed my mindset. There was one video and one incident that changed my entire life. Let me say that. And I want to tell you that, which is that video. And then it's because I want people to have that value. This is how I got out of it. The video was, it's if you check it on YouTube, it's a documentary of a guy called Dewey Bozella.
Okay.
Dewey Bozella. And it's a 7.5 or 11-minute video where they're showing Dewey Bonzella's story. And this man, in short, he was convicted for a murder at the age of 23. And he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. And he fought his case in prison. And he was convicted wrongly. He did not do the crime. But after 50, when he was at the age of 55 is when he was released out of prison as a free man. So during prison, he adopted the prison boxing program. So that's how I related to certain things of the story, because I'm like, wait, even I was a boxer.
Yeah.
Even I was like, I'm also going through the biggest life-changing, something I didn't choose for. You know what I mean? And boxing transformed Dewey Bonzello. It made him disciplined. It made him focus that even though he's in prison, he's not going to admit to something that he did not do. Because he could have got out on parole after 10 years if he just admitted to the crime. But even in the court, he said, I didn't do it, so I'm not going to agree to it. And he was sentenced back to the jail for another 20 years. But at the age of 55, that guy walked out as a free man, the court saying that they did the mistake. So when I saw that, and I saw the story, I'm like, wow, there is somebody out there who fought for 30 years of his life. I mean, 23 to 55, my friend, for something he believed in. When the whole world convicted him that you are a murderer, he believed. And at the age of 55, when he walks out as a free man, I'm like, man, Sujith, that time I was probably 6 months in my accident. I'm like, you just 6 months down the lane. I know people are giving you all the limitations and telling you what you cannot and can do. Is that you? I started asking myself, there's somebody who didn't give her 30 years. What gives you the right to give when yours is not even 1 year? So I'm like, fight, take a chance. So this mindset, this is where my mindset, I got to like the small flame. The small fire started inside. I'm like, why not? Let's just try. But there was one thing I wanted to do, which was climbing staircase in my house in India. And we had 2 floors, and I wanted to sleep in my room, which was on the first floor. But everyone was like, that's not possible because we cannot build a lift or no one can carry you. So that is the thing. What I did was, and when I heard everyone telling me no, I know I cannot walk up that stairs. But I remember this quote saying, if you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, you walk. And if you cannot walk, you crawl.
Right.
That's how the quote goes. And I'm like, I can't do the first 3. I'm like, why not crawl? And I used to pick myself up with my hands on the staircase, And my mom used to hold my legs so it doesn't hit the below part of the stairs.
Yes.
And I reached on top. And when I reached on top, Raman, I got up on a sofa and then to my wheelchair and I went to my room and I told myself, dude, I just did the impossible. Like every single one who came to my house said, it's not possible, Sujith. You cannot go up in a wheelchair.
Right.
Did I just do it? Whichever way I did, but did I do it? This changed my entire mindset.
Okay, so that was the changing moment.
That was the time I just realized, wow, dude, like actually I was a kid, I was 21 years old and I believe what my elders say, they know better than me. This is what I'm taught and you grow up as a kid, right? Suddenly you just realize you proved them wrong.
Right. So I would say it's quite a journey from what you can't do it to you did it.
I think when you realize there's a superpower out there within you, that you can actually alter your reality and doesn't have to be what people think it is. I think that realization is the biggest superpower a person can have.
And how the relationship during that phase changed, right? With your friends, and with even the family members.
Right.
So would you like to throw some light on that?
I would say I am here today because of my support system, which is my family. I think without my mom, my dad, my sisters being there around, I don't think I would, even however tough I thought I was, I don't think, if they were giving me that sympathy, if they were giving me, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But if they did that, probably then I would crash. But they
must have kept on encouraging you, I would say.
They did. Like my mom is like, you want to do something, go out and do it. The first time I joined a gym, which changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Which changed my entire life, working out. Just starting, I think, people should know, gym is just not about being good, getting a better physique. It is 99.9% more mental than it's actually physical. People don't understand it. People just don't understand what you gain by going to a gym and lifting some weights or doing your cardio or doing whatever it is. I mean, it changed me. It changed my entire life. The encourage they gave me. And when they started seeing that, okay, he's getting a fire inside him. He's also wants to make his situation better. Correct. I think the support was just like supernova waves at me, So
I would say that there's a saying, when my circle got closer,
right,
or the smaller, my dream or vision got
bigger.
clearer.
Okay, clearer. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So when you are surrounded by people,
right,
you have many friends, and when your circle gets more reduced, I would say, by the number of friends or number of human you have to interact with, or giving you advices or sympathy.
Right.
I think that must have changed your perspective to life, and also your vision must have got clearer.
I completely agree with you on that, because I was a guy who used to surround himself with 100, 200 people. Like, I would gel with anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind sharing my energy and my vibes with somebody.
I can feel that.
At that point. But then today I'm very careful at that, And like they say, you are the 5 people that you hang around with or be around with or you communicate or share your energy. Right. And that's very true, my friend.
Right.
When you have people who's constantly, I'll tell you something, I've had people where I'm in conversation with them and they just keep whatever uplifting thing you're saying about a certain situation that's probably not looking favorable right now. They are still constantly saying, but still, I don't think so. It'll not happen. And how much ever you're trying to give them hope and give them fire, like let's start looking at a brighter side, a positive side. You have seen those people. You have met those people, I believe, and we all have met at a certain point in our life. They will always try to bring it down. And I do not encourage these people anymore in my life.
So our podcast, Decoding Growth with Raman,
right,
is all about how you can develop the positive mindset, the growth mindset, whether it is in your personal life, professional life, how do you progress in your career, how do you progress in your life. And I would say you are an epitome of positive mindset, right? Coming out of the situation, doing what you're doing today is not an easy task and not everybody can do it. And hence, I said you're an epitome of the positive mindset. So we would like to understand what are the key mind shifts that happened during that process that changed you, and people can also learn from that so that they know when they are in tough times what are the key mind shift happens, and they can learn from those.
So, firstly, before the camera started, I told you I love the name. I love Decoding Growth. What an amazing name that is. It's very on point, Yeah. And that's what I think people need to know. They need to know the hacks of it, how to actually get there. Everyone talks about growth, but nobody talks about the actual little steps you have to take. Now, coming back to the mindset shift. So, the first thing was, for me, at least I'll have to talk. I'm talking from very personal points that I felt during my life. Number one, I would say, was me understanding that what people say doesn't have to be your reality. Stop listening to every single buddy that comes into your doorstep and telling you this is that.
The difference between hearing and listening.
People do that all the time. You tell a plan. You're an entrepreneur. You've built a company. You have had your own struggles. I'm sure of that. Yeah. And you have had hundreds of people, I'm sure, that comes to you at different points and says, don't do that. This is not good. That's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. This is not going to... And there's always going to be people like that. And you just get lost seeking people's... Now, who do I listen to? Who is my most person that I feel that he's, legit, valid, and probably I listen. Probably that person's point can be the most wrong one. Yeah. You know what I do? And I think people always...
Sometimes you have to be more invincible, I would say.
You have to be. You have to be a strong... In the world that we live today, my friend, you have to be... What's stronger than a rock? You got to be that. You know what I mean? If you have to... just survive, you know what I mean? And so for me, that was shutting those noises out that started first. Seeking validation, that's another big problem that people... I was seeking validation. I'm like, man, I hope people accept me. Now I'm in a wheelchair. I hope that they're going to be nicer to me. I hope I'm going to be treated the same. I hope I'm going to, And I think validation is a very important point we have to talk about, because people seek validation all throughout. People do stuff to other people, for other people, that other people don't even care about. So what the first thing I did was I validated myself.
Okay.
I'm like, this is not you, my friend. You're not a loser. You're not someone who's going to be in a room his entire life. I told myself that. People were telling me this, yeah? You're probably going to be in a room your entire life. You're probably not going to get married again. You probably might not have a job again. You might need someone to stay with you for the rest of your life. I could have believed it if I wanted to. You know what I mean? And what would happen if I believed it? True. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a lot of things what I have today.
Right.
I wouldn't, my family, it'll be just completely different. I can't even talk about the alternative what it would have. It's devastating,
right.
Validating myself within. And secondly, the people I started surrounding with. I think I've got more people after my accident than I've got ever before my injury. Because I believe this line, please name this line, do the hardest thing in the morning and the rest of your day becomes easier.
Okay.
But if you wait for the hardest things later on, your entire life will become hard.
Correct. And the entire day would be harder, I would say.
I'll give you crystal clear examples for this. Aren't there mails that, I don't want to send this mail, I'll send it later on. I don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to make that call, I don't want to do that one activity because it's hard, it's tough. Yeah. So you do the hardest things right, and then your entire day becomes easier. Then what happens to you as a person? You become tougher. Yeah. Then when people break at little things. People ask me, how the hell are you so strong, dude? I mean, from what I went through, I would say I've met the devil like 10 times, 15 times on the way, and I still beat him every single time to be here. People, they get these little problems in their life and they think their entire life is crushed. Oh, something happened at work or something happened in a relationship, my entire life is gone.
Right.
I'm like, dude, like stop. Literally talk to yourself. Who are you? What do you think of yourself? What do you want to be? And are you only this much? So toughen up in life, So it's a lot of factors if you have to talk about it.
You are a trained the way physical, I would say a physical trainer, right?
Personal trainer, yeah.
Yeah, personal trainer. And that has changed from a necessity to a passion, I would say.
It turned, so for me, gymming is life. Like if I don't work out, I go nuts. You know what I mean? Like after a couple of days. But that's what I said. It's so mental for me today.
Yeah.
For me, if I don't work out in a gym, I feel I'm becoming, I don't know, just in plain Gen Z language, I'm becoming sad in life. You know what I mean? Like for me, working out is very important. Like it keeps me going. It keeps me sharp. Like 5 days I don't work out. The next day I'm in the gym. I lift weights. I had a good 1.5 session. I'm sweating. I'm pumped. Whew. I feel I'm back in my track. But I don't do that. I feel I'm like already 10 steps back. So for me, it's very mental. How
So
it turned
you
out
were
to
into
be...
gyms before even this accident? Or?
No.
Okay.
So the only time I had a very good physical encounters in my life, I just joined it because of a friend when I was in 2012.
Okay.
I joined boxing in Royal Kickboxing Academy, Bangalore. The best decision of my life. And I just joined it because let's see what all this is about, because a friend was going. I fell in love with the sport. Like I became so disciplined. I became a different guy. I became a very different guy in terms of discipline in my life.
Okay.
And in the character I was, you wouldn't just jump into anything and everything. You wouldn't just start showing, even at that young age, because it's all about show off at that age, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And then my accident happened. And then I didn't train for at least till 2015. I have not lifted 1 kg dumbbell as well.
Okay.
Till 2016 actually. So by this time, I became skin and bones. I became super weak. I became like really thin. Coming back to Dubai is when I thought to myself, I always need my sisters with me if I have to go from my wheelchair to my bed. I always need people to push me around. I'm like, what is the first thing you need to do if you have to bounce back in life? I need to get stronger. If I was stronger, I can take care of myself at least a little bit. I can probably go from my wheelchair to my bed by myself, maybe. I can probably go to a car, to the seat by myself, maybe. So let me get strong. And that's when the gym idea came. And when I told that to my house, my brother was like, are you sure? Because people are scared, like they don't really know what I can do. I went to the gym. The first 2 weeks, all I did was lift 5 kilos, 4 kilos, baby weights, And fast forward, but gym became a religion to me because I was not doing anything. I was not working. I was not studying. I was just free all day, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the gym, out at 8 o'clock. Every day, constantly, 3 months, and I'm bench pressing 100 kilo for the first time in my life. I'm getting muscles in my body. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. So that's where it built for me. And then over the years, I started posting it on Instagram just to show people that I haven't given up in life. That even though I'm in a wheelchair, I'm still working out because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
It showed a difference in my life.
Right.
And that connected with a lot of people. And I started getting DMs from people, hey, wow, Sujith, I actually went to the gym today because I saw you going to the gym. Yeah. You're at the gym at 11 o'clock because you didn't get the whole day. I'm going to the gym because of you. So then it became where I felt, why not be a personal trainer? So I can actually...
I would say you are not wheelchair bound. You are wheelchair liberated.
I'm liberated in all ways, my friend.
So coming back to music.
All right, what's up?
Okay. So was that part of your healing process or another way of telling your story to the world?
It was a fluke. Let's start with that. So I was in a hospital in 2017. No, wait, I'm not sure. 17. I was in the hospital in 2017. And for the first time, I wrote a song.
Okay.
Just about my current situation. Very basic, very amateur. And I tried to rhyme it, from the last word to the first word. And, you just, because it's a rap song. And my friend played it on the radio. Because when I showed it to him, he's like, wow, let's just add a beat to it. He wanted to give me some positivity from what I was going through.
Right.
And he played it. Yeah. And it got heard by so many people. And I had Selena Jedley, who tweeted about it.
Okay.
I was like, whoa, where did that happen from, And my phone is getting bombarded. So, and I ended up winning Masala Awards because she heard about my story and they nominated me for an award that year. So in my thought process, I would never put out a song, what I have written at that time of my life, thinking, who will listen to me?
Yeah.
What are you going to be, a song singer, a rapper, writer, whatever, right? But accidentally when it came out, see what road that took me to. I mean, so I'm like, why are you shunning yourself? If you're not good, you're not good. The people will tell you you're not good,
Correct.
And that's when I started writing. But the music thing changed was when I wrote started writing certain things of my life I wanted to put as a message out there because I'm a storyteller rapper.
Yeah.
So in all my raps you'll get a proper storyboard. Okay, so this is what he's talking about.
Right.
I'm not just talking about some random stuff. And I started writing a lot of raps, and I used to have it on actual A4 size paper. Then nowadays I type it, but earlier in the days I was writing in that A4 size paper. And then one day, I think in 2018 or 19, I get a call from these events guys, and they're like, dude, we are doing a documentary on people of determination, and we want you to have a rap song in that. Can you write a song for us?
Oh.
I was like, wow.
That was the moment
That was like, I was confused, not confused. I was like, man, am I going to be good enough? Like, what if I don't write good enough for them? You know what I mean? Because it's a responsibility, right? True. I think I took about a week. I think it took about 2 weeks. I could think about all the things that I want to say for a person of determination, from my perspective as well. And that's how I wrote the song, Determined, and which I made a music video later on.
Imagine hope was thing that we all just needed to fulfill our dreams and just feel completed. There was some who just did. You wouldn't believe it. There's the stories of the ones who were highly understated.
Which is my first music video.
So we hear a lot of stories from these creative people who love music, who love storytelling, people who write, right? They always have that one creative corner or their loving corner in their house. Sometimes it might be a toilet, sometimes it might be a bathroom, or sometimes it might be your bedroom.
Your bed, yeah. Who doesn't love a good bed, yeah.
So, do you have such creative corner for you?
In my house?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just love all my house, my whole place. But no, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, there's. I have a corner which is which I have my DJ console. Okay. And I have my speakers and my Rode mic and everything attached to that. So when I mean, that's my zone where I can literally spend 5 hours.
So you just move towards that.
Yeah, where I can like spend 5 hours straight, and I would be like, oh, okay, fine. Now you know what? It's like time.
That gets you into that zone. I would
Sorry?
say. That gets you in that zone.
Yeah, that's one place. One place I can be lost.
Yeah.
I would just like not care of time passing by.
So let's make it more entertaining.
All right.
Can you rap some lines for us?
Rap some lines, okay. So this is a song, I've done this in a couple of interviews, but this is a song I'd written for Indian Raga. Yo, from a land that the stars were born with some scars, feeling with the beats of Indian Raga, cause the music and the dance to be born as one. Now this is bigger than everyone, from a sound of the nation to utter domination. We conquer with the fear, with the tap correlation. Music and dance, it gives us free stance. Peace and love we need in advance, from a rich to the famous, poor to the blameless. We come from a country that made us courageous. Talam and beat becomes Sangeet, dancing all the way from the room to the streets. We got Step Up 3 that's playing on repeat. Mantra, the Raga, Om Namah Shivaya. Dance of the kings that makes a bit higher. Power of the Om from the Lord Shivaya comes with a boom and sets you on fire.
Wow.
So you saw all the elements I wanted to add in that?
Man.
Yeah, so...
You're a man of many talents.
That's what
So continuing our conversation. You now hold the world record of making that GPS drawing, right? That Guinness World Record. So... tell us about that. We would like to understand more about it, and how did that happen?
So what I created over here was the largest GPS logo done by a person of determination in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Now, just to clarify, there are certain people who have done logos before in cars and in cycles. Like Chevrolet, I think they hold the biggest world record for having a logo where a car with a GPS tracker has driven, I think, 142,000 miles. In a car, and when you look at it from Google Maps, that route he had gone through is the shape of a Chevrolet's logo. So when I was told this idea, so what I created here is I had a tracker on my hand, and how do Google Maps work? Whenever we go, we follow the route, right? What it shows, right? I created that route. So end of the day, I had a tracker, and wherever please.
No, so I just wanted to understand. So before you were planning to do this, you must have drawn it on the paper, or you must have thought how it is going to be, because you have to draw a route sort of and then plan for it.
So when I was talking to the Guinness World Record guys over here, they were like, there were multiple options given to me. There were 10 options given to me. Many of them were not physically possible because you need a little bit more core balance. And I don't have a very strong core balance that way. So I was like, then they pitched to me like, why don't we do a logo? I'm like, interesting. What are you talking about? He's like, you have to create a logo. No one has ever done that in a wheelchair till date. So I'm like, the question was, what was the logo? Like I could have. So in my head, I think the first thing that went in my head was to do the 3-finger salute.
Yeah.
I was like, I can create that, but the roads have to be favorable as well.
True.
Okay, so this is how it works. So then, when we got brainstorming, I'm like, no, it has to be impactful. And they also was like, Sujith, it has to be something impactful. That makes more sense, to the whole, because you do something, you can do anything. You can literally write your name and that'll be a Guinness World Record.
Yeah.
But what's after that? But what if I leave something that can be remembered for very long time, or it can represent a big community? I was like, dude, wheelchair.
Yeah.
But the biggest challenge was, how do I do that on the map, right?
Yes.
Now I can do it in the ground. So then he was like, no, it has to be, the Guinness guys told me it has to be a minimum, I think, of 6.6 or 7 kilometers minimum. Okay. So I'm like, wow. So we already got the high of it. Next thing, I have to create that. Now what I did was, I went to MapMyRun. It's an Under Armour's website, mapmyrun.com.
Okay.
And they will show you the map, whatever map you want, of anywhere in the world. And so I got Dubai's map. Next thing is I had to look at that map, because I'm having entire Dubai's roads and all that map. And I had to see where at least slightly am I seeing. Now wheelchair, when it went to my head, I'm like, round. The wheel, right, round. So let me see where's the biggest round I can find. And the first one I found was in Palm.
Palm, okay. Yeah.
Palm, I found one. I found one
But I think it is more than, in terms of kilometers, it will be more than 10, 15 kilometers.
I think so as well. I think so. But then, so I tried to look at Palm, but then the Palm didn't work out, is because it's not complete. If you see, only the palm is there. So the wheel is like, it will not look a complete wheelchair, and the body would definitely be deformed looking. So I had to find, and I was finding, one day for some reason, I looked at downtown and I just saw the downtown's curve. The curve of downtown. And I was like, let me give it a try. And bro, it fit perfect. I'm like, this is like a God's sign or a blessing. And I pitched it to him. So I created the route and I saw it was 8.71 kilometers, 5.6 or 7 miles, something like 8.71 kilometers. Yeah. I pitched it to the Guinness World Record guys. I showed them this was on another new road. Yeah. So thankfully, the downtown thing worked very well. I pitched it to them. They sent it to the UK office. UK guys approved it and they're like, we are creating a new world record. So I created this world record. So what I did was, I had a tracker. I started the tracker right in front of Burj Khalifa and I kept wheeling for 8.71 kilometers. Means from Burj, I passed Dubai Mall. I went to Financial Center. I went in front of the palace. I took a turn. I came back through the entire stretch, went through Dubai Mall. Okay. I went through Dubai Mall and I came out of Dubai Mall from another exit. Okay. And CZ and Burak, right?
Yes.
That side. Burak, so that's the exit of the Dubai Mall from the parking, and from CZ and Burak all the way to back to Burj Khalifa. Okay. So that
quite a journey, I would
completed the wow, man. Like I think I gave my 150%.
Yeah. So talking about your achievements, what you've achieved so far, and I would say you've achieved unthinkable, man.
God's grace.
What I believe is, and I think you would also agree to this, that is it because you do not have any fear of losing?
Wow.
Right? And people give up very easily these days because they get scared.
Right.
And they have a fear of losing.
Right.
So what are your thoughts?
You are genuinely probably the third or fourth person ever who has told that to me, and it's so true, and it's on point. Okay. I feel, no, it's very true. And I like how you analyze that
because you have emerged from that feeling of losing anything in life.
Everything.
You emerged beyond that.
Yeah.
It is beyond that.
One day I'm on top of the world. I'm a boxer. I feel I'm untouchable. No one can touch me, and I'm racing and I'm killing it in Bangalore. The next thing, I'm in one room with plasters and everything, and veins are pierced, and I feel I lost everything. I can't even go from here to that place by myself. So imagine what I went through mentally. I've had people walk out of my life. I've had a lot of friends not calling me again. I felt very lonely. I was very depressed. I was at the worst stage of my life where I thought it's better to end it than even survive or live and give trouble to my family. And people are sad, people are crying, sympathy is being brought upon me. I went for a treatment in Kerala that backfired very badly. That person he made my situation worse, this Ayurvedic doctor I went for. Because of this man, I had to go through 16 surgeries. Because of his wounds alone, because of what damage he did. So, I mean, Man, like mentally, I just felt I think for months or years, I really thought about like, what is the point of living? Like, like, will this ever end? When you do a surgery in 2013, then you do one in 2014 March, then you do one in 2014 September, then you do one in 2015 January, then another one in February, then another one in April, and then it goes to 16, and then it goes to 17, and then it goes to 18. How much? You ask yourself, and it pushes you as a human being, it pisses you off. It gets you to a limit where you are so angry at life.
And it has a limit, how far you can push yourself.
How far can you push yourself? I get one thing, and then you recover, and then you're happy. Thank God it's over. And then boom, before you know again, so you got to go back in the hospital. I'm giving you the realest feelings that I had, at that point. And it's very important because I want your listeners to understand. Like, it's at that stage, and this is how life is. I mean, for me, it came through surgeries and going back to hospitals every time I felt I was better. And life gives you the same hit in different ways. When you feel you did something, boom, something else happened at home, something else happened with your friends, something else happened at work, something else happened in your personal something. But that's how life is. How like Rocky Balboa in that movie, Sylvester Stallone said, it's not about how much you can, how hard you hit. It's about how much you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's literally what life is. A huge thing in Dubai, and they're very serious about it. And
so
they're
many
very
of our viewers and the audience, this is what I feel, that my audience or the people who would watch my podcast are the aspiring entrepreneurs, are the people who really wants to do something in their life, and that's how we started.
Right.
So they might be figuring out something in their life, facing certain challenges, setbacks, struggling to find something. What would be your advice to them?
Never give up. Try 500 times and probably work the 501st time. I am no one to even say that. I can just give you examples.
I'll stop you here, right, Sujith? Trying 500 times, it is easier than
said than done.
Correct?
Yeah, 100%.
But how do you accumulate that courage of doing it for 500 times?
By believing in the thing that you're doing.
So we're going back to the conversation where we started.
Yeah, by believing in what you're doing. Yeah, if you don't believe in something, if you're going to keep constantly changing whatever your plans or your dreams, they always say, never change the goal. Only change the path. 100 times. Change the path in multiple different ways as much as you want. But don't change from the goal. Yes, at the same time, it doesn't make sense if you have unrealistic goals and don't have a clear picture of that. But I want that. Especially aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start their own business. You will find 100 roadblocks, but that's just the way the business is. That's how. Because if it was easy, everybody would be having multi-million dollar dirham business, whatever. So it's not easy. Obviously, it's not easy. And again, you can even start a business, but not necessarily that will turn out to be a multi-million dollar business. So just a few things. I'm not an entrepreneur myself, but few takeaways I would say is like, always collaborate. I feel collaboration is where you probably make your 100,000, but if you want to make that million, that is not going to come solo. Sometimes you have to have a collaborative effort into it. Okay. Secondly, never change the goal, change the path.
Okay.
Realistically. And thirdly, if you find yourself in a setback, I think you should be happy about it because only if you have a setback in front of you, a hurdle in front of you, you have something to jump and fly and cross over. If you have nothing in front of you, where are you going to go? Left, right, straight, center, back? Yeah. You have to have a hurdle in front of you. Right. And only then you become stronger. Dude, that's how we become as stronger individuals. We become more sharper. But that's the only way to go through it. And it's everyone's journey, So you have to go through it by yourself.
So don't change the goal, change the path.
Change the path.
Great. So jumping onto the rapid fire round.
All right,
now.
Let's go. I know, these are like the most nervous moments in any interview or podcast, but yeah.
So, Sujith is an early riser or a night owl?
Oh, wow. I would say both. No, majoritarily night out.
Okay. A fitness influencer who has influenced you?
Oh, I would, Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Okay. If you could collaborate with any rapper, who would it be?
Raftar. I really would love to, yeah.
Do you follow a strict diet? And what's your guilty pleasure food?
No, I follow a very strict diet when I'm in very serious training. But I do have this thing. But my guilty pleasure would be biryani.
Okay.
Big sucker for biryani.
And do you read?
Do I?
Do you read?
No, but that's a habit I'm trying to adopt into 2023.
Okay. What is your favorite inspirational quote?
I don't know word by word, but it says like, never be yourself. Because the whole world tells you be yourself, but you always want to be the better version of yourself, right?
Okay,
So always
yeah.
that's what comes back to our whole topic of reflecting and being the better version of yourself.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. Who has been your pillar of strength all this while?
My mother.
Your mother. Great power to her.
Yeah.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
I don't know, being invisible. Being invisible.
Invisible.
Yeah, so you can go to any place that you want and nobody will know you're there.
Your proudest moment in the journey.
Yeah, okay, one of my proudest moment I'm going to say it was during Masala Award when my mum saw me getting an award while Sri Devi was there, Boni Kapoor and all of them were there, and Boman Irani was handing me over the mic and my mum was there to watch it. So I was very proud because
Proudest
when my family's happy, I'm very happy.
Okay. What do you enjoy the most? Speaking, gymming, music, cooking?
Oh, wow, that's a very tough one. If I have to label it, can I categorize it?
Just go ahead. You can put them in order, okay?
That's a hard one, man. It's like a tie between speaking and working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your top 3 tips for staying fit and healthy.
Okay. Drink a lot of water. Do regular exercise, and live a healthy lifestyle. Try to cut down on your negatives, people who smoke, drink, and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
Great. Do you travel and take a vacation?
That's something I really wish I do, but I don't do often enough at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
So, if it would be, what is your go-to vacation location?
I would love to go to Venice.
Venice. Okay.
Venice has always been in my mind.
Sujith is single or committed?
Freaking single, sadly, from 2017.
What is next for Sujith?
Making my purpose ongoing on a regular basis.
Okay.
I'm trying to do something where I can. It's like other than these one-off things, I want to do something where people can actually just keep coming back to me in terms of courses, in terms of getting what I do best, which is developing a person in terms of emotionally, mentally. That's what I'm really good at. So I want to start something where people can just keep taking it back and forth.
Thank you
The
so
plan
much,
is still in
Sujith.
play. Thank you so much. It's
so
an
much
absolute
for coming.
pleasure to be at your podcast.
And for audience, thank you very much for watching this episode. I'm sure you must have learned a lot from Sujith's journey. It teaches you the determination one can have, how you can grow in your life in spite of having such difficulties of not being able to move. But I would say he moved the mountains. Please share, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and do not forget to comment about this episode and also tell us who should be the next guest on our podcast. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.